I'm so sorry. You've got to understand, this speech was put together last night and finished at 3 in the morning. And what seemed acceptable after that amount of alcohol now seems acceptable again after today's amount of alcohol. So, first of all, it's one of my duties to thank Brian for his kind speech on behalf of the bridesmaids. I'm sure we all agree the bridesmaids is gorgeous, only surpassed by the beautiful bride herself. And a big thank you has to go out to Dave and Helen for inviting us here today. Spending that much money.
Originally, we were just going to play this safe and say, here's the happy couple, and sit down and say no more about it. But we thought, you might as well get your money's worth, so apologies. I would have to agree with you though, Brian, choosing us as our best men probably wasn't one of your best decisions. Kris and I first met Brian through working in the pub, and we quickly realised that we shared an interest in alcohol and stupidity. We actually sat down and drunk last night as well. We actually sat down and we realised that most of the story started with, do you remember the time that we were all totally steaming then? So that's kind of the basis for most of this speech. Anyway, we'll come back to all that. We think in order to build up a picture of how young Thomson grew up into such a fine, beautiful, upstanding specimen of a man, his childhood. So cheers, Baz, for some of these that are absolute belters.
Unfortunately, not all the stories Marion sent us could be used. To be fair, we'll be here in a week's time. But I chose one in particular. So it's safe to say Marion's been dealing with Bri shite. No more so than when he accidentally swallowed a 10p piece while cycling back from the shops. Now this wasn't the only time he had a wee accident on wheels. When he was 3 years old, he managed to drive his little tractor into the fish pond. As we all know, Brian is not the smartest. Thank Christ he's praying.
Pretty ugly. As some of you also know, Brian has also struggled sometimes with the intricacies of the female form. Hey, knee boy. A lot of blank faces there, but trust me, it was worth putting in. As a child, there's another one from Maz, Brian was convinced through the power of TV advertising that ladies... I was convinced through watching adverts on telly that ladies' sanitary towels were worn to protect frightened women from peeing themselves when jumping out of aeroplanes. Which seems perfectly logical. So imagine young Brian's delight in watching another advert a few months later for the same pads, but now with new and improved wings. Now they actually make women fly!
So. In the same vein, Brian, we had a drunken conversation one night after work in dusk, where I explained that a male member of staff, hadn't had sex in quite some time. And I said, he hasn't had it in so long that his hymen's starting to heal up. At which point Brian pulled me aside to ask me, do men have hymens? So due to all these worrying factors, factors and our concern for poor Kelly, we decided to purchase you some educational literature. This is the Osborne Facts of Life of Growing Up, all about and sex.
Admittedly, a lot of this stuff when Brian was a kid happened before we got to you. Go on. Before we got to, no. Young RT.
Oh, RT.
Sorry. But as soon as we all joined forces on unsuspecting Aberdeen, it was always going to end in mayhem and hilarity. Hey, Brian, to infinity and beyond.
There's going to be a few instances where he's going to squirm.
You ready?
Yeah, ready. Yeah. So, there's many stories we can't elaborate on in present company about Bible Brian. However, we are both open to alcoholic bravery later this evening. But the highlights of these stories include winning the Paralympics with Pete Fraser, streaking through Seoul as a forfeit, drinking Bruno's pee not as a forfeit, LG pissing on you again not as a forfeit, asking the locals for directions to the chip shop party. But then again, there's also taking great interest in certain lines from the Gideon's Bible. And then there was the stag do. Our poor wee Raemoir was seriously worried about the thought that we were actually going to Syria. The look of relief on his face when he realised we were actually going to Prague was priceless. However, the weeks preceding the stag were a lot of fun winding him up. In fact, the morning we left, he told us that he'd had a dream of being chased through the desert. So obviously there's rules of the stag that don't allow me to divulge too much. However, there's a couple of points that should be shared.
All right.
Such as his on-stage debut in Goldfish. It was amusing watching a slightly anxious and embarrassed, fully clothed Brian climb on stage. However, once he was stripped naked, we couldn't get him down. In fact, when we did get him down, it took a stern talking to from Sandy to get you put your clothes back He was a battered, bruised shadow of his former self, dressed in a gay sailor outfit for his return flight to Edinburgh. After passing through passport control, he was approached by a rather attractive police officer who said she wanted to speak to him. Now, bear in mind, the majority of the women over the Prague weekend were in the habit of removing their clothes. So to begin with, Brian actually thought me and Pete had managed to organise this immigration. But alas, no. It turned out there'd been a little bit of a mix-up with a work taxi months before, and they were considering locking him up in the cells, dressed as a gay sailor. I think it would have been a white wedding. A fantastic end to a fantastic weekend. So that takes us to the Scotland leg of the stag do. Brian arrived in Ma Cameron's clutching a plastic bag with his heavily stained outfit from the Saturday. His size 18 corset and tutu were put on in the toilet of the bar. It was only at this point that me and Pete actually realised that he'd been to the shops to buy pop socks, tights and a fairy wand as he felt the outfit were lacking. What a fucking legend.
And now he's a married man. And I think you'll all agree that Kelly looks amazing today. I think
Yes.
Here, here.
You guys are a very, very lucky man indeed. I think
Punching well above his weight.
both realised she was a winner when we first met her and found out that she was as into ripping the piss out of Rye as we were. so we knew it was all going to end well. There's a fantastic quote from the man himself, which I'm not going to read it out.
Do it.
Do it! Come on!
Just about how, come and see me after. Just about how under the thumb he actually is.
Group
It's in my phone, but it goes something along the lines of, I am Kelly's bitch. I love it. She tells me what to do all the time. I've got lovely big testicles.
All right!
Seriously though, Brian, it's an absolute honour for us to be asked to be your bestest man ever. And we love you dearly, and we're so chuffed that you finally found someone to call you.
So, one wee bit of advice. As a married man, I need to pass on some advice I was given on my wedding day. The two most important words.
Shut up.
The two most important words you'll use in your future marriage are yes, dear. Whether it's said in agreement or through gritted teeth, compromise will see you through. And by that I mean she is always right.
Thank you for realising finally, Mr. Lily.
I said her, not you. You can tell I've been drinking. Failing that, we found another publication, apparently written specifically for you.
Oh no.
So Brian,
Oh god.
you should sit with us. You should sit with us. Going by the weight, Kelly, you should probably hit with this. It's the complete idiot's guide to the perfect marriage.
Finally.
Did I get a shot at
Sammy, it's only the first edition.
Alright, well, I mean, genuinely, we had an absolute good. I'm actually standing there. Speaking. It's been brilliant. We reckon a decent marriage is all about happiness and laughter. Funnily enough. Whether it be with each other or mainly just at Brian. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses. Join us in our toast to the bride and groom. The bride and groom. Cheers.
Well done.